Eldon, Missouri. Jessica's cousin works evenings at the local Gerbs. According to our 19-year-old hormones, she is the prettiest thing in town. Only a few thousand other residents in contention. When we visit, she smiles, softening, knowing Darren and I are both barely good for a $1 Totino's frozen pizza. Maybe a movie rental. Other nights when she's not working, we rely on the dollar menu from McDonald's. We want to impress her, Jessica's cousin, but we are not impressive young men. The irony is that we've converged in inconspicuous Eldon, Missouri to pursue the very notion of impressive. Eldon itself isn't particularly stimulating. No movie theater, no hospital, no nightlife. But it does have something surprising. The Harley Race Wrestling Academy. Those who know of the place most likely came here because of it, tracing an esoteric thread through the underground to attend and receive training. It sits on South Maple Street, across from Buzzer McGee's sports bar, where old patriarchs chain smoke Marlboro Reds and eat deep-fried grouper, slathered in mayonnaise and sandwiched between buttered white bread. Health is not a priority in this region, in this town, in this bar. And Harley is a regular. This grizzled Missouri native is an icon to the professional wrestling industry, though broken and gentler than his legend lets on. He used to pull piercings out of his opponents' bodies, rub Nair in their long hair, tase them in the shower after the shows. But now, in his early 60s, he's a teddy bear, our grandfather figure with, to my unmedical mind, undiagnosed dementia, likely from the concussions. Every time I enter his office, he shows me a cup full of metal, once fused to his spine from injuries, as if he is showing it to me for the very first time. He rattles it before me, the pride of a man who lived his life in a wrestling ring. His acclaimed orneriness is still there, though. When Darren and I offer Harley a Care Bear birthday card, he pulls a revolver out of his desk and calmly tells us to get the fuck out of his office. He is our leader, our greatest advocate, booking us matches throughout the United States and Canada. If someone cheats us, they answer to him, the cigarette-aged exemplar with a gun in his desk. We're drawn to Harley's school because pro wrestling is not ubiquitous. The culture only thrives in the Midwest, the South, and a small pocket of the East Coast. He tells us success will require sacrifice, and I can't help but think that giving our youth to Eldon might be the greatest sacrifice of all. Amongst the cohort, I have come the furthest to learn this craft, leaving my home in Montana to receive the best training in the country. We are taught the old school style, meaning we can perform without speaking in the ring, meaning we hit each other hard, but in safe places. We are respected as top-tier wrestlers on the independent scene. In Eldon, though, we are just wrestlers. And I'm not sure if it's a favorable moniker. After all, we are liberal kids bringing progressive beliefs from outside cities into the more racist, rural, backwoods town. Locals are still cordial. They buy tickets to our events at the community center, the same place the annual Turkey Festival is held. Meanwhile, our fans worship us. They make scrapbooks of us and our spandex. They bring homemade signs celebrating our in-ring personas. Eldon, like any forgotten town, needs heroes. These fans wait on our fame, hoping to one day say they used to watch us way back when. Their when being the now we are still fighting through, poor, unknown, homesick. And I do miss Montana, being unfamiliar to the industrial culture of Missouri, an economy founded on that namesake river, which, if you trace back to the headwaters, is my home. The river itself, a care package from Montana. I find ways to cope. I've made good friends with other wrestlers who moved here on the same gamble. Wild Wade, Crazy Mike, Dakota, Daniel Cross, Ace Steel, Superstar Steve, Trevor Murdoch, Dangerous Derek, Miss Natural. The list goes on and on. And I've known them for years, and in some cases, I don't even know their given names. I don't care to. They're intelligent, charismatic individuals, people who used to be comic book nerds, theater kids, loners once bullied. All of us in love with the same thing: movement. You wouldn't assume it, but wrestling is an art, like ballroom dancing, with a kinetic intelligence that couples muscle memory with storytelling, athleticism with in-ring psychology. It's the way timing dictates flow, with two people hoping all their training will make slow motion look fast, will make fake look real. It's that undeniable pop of a forearm landing in the sweet spot of an opponent's neck. It's telling the crowd a story that heightens the range of their emotional response through ups and downs, villainous cutoffs, hope spots, hot comebacks, and then taking the match to the climactic end. Wrestling is an art. And like my fellow Montanan Norman McLean said, all good things, trout as well as eternal salvation, come by grace, and grace comes by art, and art does not come easy. This is not easy. We learn how to fall properly over and over. We learn how to lift, contort, and slam each other in the safest ways possible. How to work day jobs at the Fasco Motor Factory or for construction companies in Jeff City or as bartenders down at the lake, and then train at night in the unbearable humidity of a Missouri summer and perform on weekends driving the dangerous roads of an unforgiving Missouri winter for little to no pay despite the distance of travel and wear on our bodies. The one thing we never learn is how to keep the dream alive. This is not easy. Despite the hyper-masculine stereotypes we convey, we are shaving our bodies, tanning them, both in beds and with lotions, and then asking each other in the locker room if we look fat. If our thighs and hamstrings are proportional to our torsos, it's body dysmorphia to the brawny degree. We are road warriors infiltrating the forgotten pockets of Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, Oklahoma, Indiana, Illinois, Arkansas, wrestling at your local armories and in high school gyms, risking broken bones, maybe paralysis, or at the very least a mat disease, ringworm perhaps, for a crowd of 10. We wrestle for grace, for art, for eternal salvation. We commit to Eldon for as long as we can. When the dream does eventually die, we sometimes stick around, making Eldon our permanent home, even though a wife or husband may not, losing interest in supporting someone else's delusion, in taking the kids with them. Even when our health has started to fail us in our 30s, when bruises start lingering a little longer than they used to, we keep trying to resuscitate the dead, this broken dream. Or we leave, go back to college, become a writer, and live with the haunting knowledge of what love feels like when left lingering in your blood. The haunt of an art you will never perform again, left somewhere to rot, with the memories of youth and friendships once built on the passion of pursuit, and the lament for someone's cousin somewhere who used to sell you $1 Totino frozen pizzas, and who used to be, to your best recollection, beautiful.